When it comes to the inner man or the heart, there's nothing this world has to offer that can fix. This world really has nothing to offer in general, but we'll leave all that alone till like 10 minutes from now. What do you think the number one issue in the world is? Drug addictions, alcoholism, stuff like that. These are huge issues. Why do you think it is? People have broken hearts. So they just say, numb the pain. I don't know about you. I'm very glad that I have pain receptors in my hand. Because if I did not, I would touch the stove and I would not remove my hand and I would be getting hurt the whole time, all the while thinking this is a great day to be alive. I have pain receptors and it tells me, don't touch. Now, how stupid would I have to be? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go cook. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a whole bunch of pain pills so I can go touch the grill and I don't feel it. Now we're all laughing, you're like, you're insane, Jared. Welcome to how most of us try to live our lives. Coping with other things. Why? Because you got a broken heart. May not be broken heart, like, oh, puppy love, broken heart stuff. Maybe betrayal. Maybe it's just be general disappointment. That's the greatest miracle of all. A changed heart. Scripture says no one knows the heart but God. That's what some of us just witnessed, and if you don't know this, there were several people, just because I walk with many of you on a personal level, young men, young women, chronologically preferred men and women, some of which that are just now giving their hearts and some that have many, many times over. And what the world didn't give, the world can't take away. The world didn't give a new heart, God did, so the world can't take it away when we run to God, when we run to Christ. That's what's happening right here if you're confused by it. I urge you, don't sit on the outside looking in of what God is doing. Don't let pride be the thing that gets in the way. It's always interesting how God does things, because this is already the majority of my message. So some of y'all are going to be like, this is so cool, he's not even going to talk a long time. I got all kinds of fun, creative things, but I'll just say it as Jesus said. It's probably the best way to do it anyways. Jesus kind of gives us this, he calls them parables or fictional stories that are very real. He says there's a wise man and a foolish one. So there's a smart dude and a dumb dude. He says the smart guy, the wise one, he goes to build a house and he finds a rock, something immovable and unshakable, and he builds his house there. Who's ever heard this story before? He says that one is wise because when all the storms and the floods come, it stands and it does not move. It is unshaken and unwavering. But the foolish, the disciple, not the disciple. D-U-H, disciple, disciple. He builds his house on sand. My parents live pretty close to the beach in Belize, and they have to build houses in some weird ways because the sand is constantly moving. And I used to think when I was younger and I traveled, I was like, why don't they build brick houses? They're like, because something's going to hit it pretty soon anyways. Seriously, that was the answer I got. It's only a foolish person builds it on sand, doesn't put a foundation, doesn't get it on something solid. He says, because what happens when that happens? Storms come, floods, all this stuff comes, and it collapses and it falls, and the fall will be great. Not great as in good, great as in just massive, big. It will be a major failure. When Jesus gives us this story, he's painting the picture of humanity, and he's trying to say there are two houses. There's no third house. This ain't Goldilocks. There's two houses. What is a house? It's a dwelling place. And you make one of those two houses your home. You make the foolishness your home. It's shifting and changing. What does that mean, shifting and changing things to build on? If your life is founded upon anything that is in this natural world, guess what? It changes. If the happiness in your life is built upon your job, what happens when you lose your job? It changes. Now your whole world is crumbling down. Who's ever had an experience like that before? Yeah. Whole world comes crashing down because of a job or because of this or because of that. That's shifting things. Jesus comes along and says that type of a house, it ends in destruction every single time. If you build your life around that, when that thing changes, your whole life changes. He says that's foolishness. He says, but a wise man builds it on the rock. The rock represents something that is immutably unchangeable. Cannot be shaken, cannot be changed. I don't know of anything in this world that doesn't change or can't be changed. I mean, why am I on country songs? The more things change, everything changes, everything changes. Everything in this world. So if Jesus is saying, if we trust the words, right? If we trust the words of Christ, we're saying he's who we're going to pin our life on. And he says everything is like shifting sand. When your life is centered around that thing, it's going to end in failure. Because someday it will change. So we got to find something. We got to look somewhere for something that's unchangeable, unwavering, dedicated, set apart from the rest. It's not like all the shifting sand. We got to, what is that? Where could we look to find that? Well, we've got to look beyond the natural world. There's only one that I know of. If you've got another one, please do tell. The word that Scripture uses for this is holy. The word holy, there's two different languages it's mentioned in. The Hebrew, the Old Testament, it is kadosh is the word. Not skadoosh from Kung Fu Panda, kadosh. And this word means to be set apart, different than everything else. To be dedicated. In the Greek, when they write about it, they use a different word, hagios, which is where we get our word holy from. And that word means the same thing, to be set apart, utterly different than everything else, dedicated and unchanging and unmoving. God says, that's who I am. It's the core character of God. It's actually the first thing we learn of who God is. We learn that he is unchanging and unwavering. Christ comes on the scene and says, these are your options. There are two houses. There is not a third. There's just these two. One always ends in destruction. One will stand. You know why most people don't build on the rock? It takes a little bit of work, man. You got to drill into the concrete. I mean, there's some work to get down to some bedrock. You got to remove a bunch of crap. Not if you live in Midlothian because the rock's just on the surface, but if you live anywhere else. But it's easy just to slapstick something together over here on the sand. But I'm going to tell you a truth. Who's ever been to the casino? The house always wins. The house always wins. So if there are two houses, whichever one you're in, it wins. See, the whole idea of the house always wins. You go to the casino, and you're just, I don't do that stuff. I like to play the card games, but I lose money too quick. People of faith are horrible gamblers because you always think you're about to win. The house always wins. The idea of that is this, that the casino is set up in such a way that what? They always get the winning stake. They always profit. And while there's an individual here or there that may win, in the long term, they're always down. And even if there's one person that seems to be up, there's about 50 other ones over here that are down that balance the scales so the house always wins. That's the world system, guys. That's how it works. And I'm going to go a little bit, just stay with me. This is not accusatory. This is pleading with you because, see, the whole world system works that way, and we play along with it. We join in with it. Why? Because we're just hoping we're not the ones that lose. What kind of selfishness is that? Some of y'all are like, man, I'm never going to the casino again. It makes me feel bad. I ain't preaching against casinos. We made our own cards. You can take the King of Hearts and be like, King of Hearts, and then you'll get kicked out. No, what? As long as I'm the one winning, I don't really care that all these other suckers are losing. Isn't that the world? See, if truth is truth, it can be applied in every situation. So it would work out the same way every time. I tend to get on this a lot. There is truth. There's not your truth. That's stupid. It's dumb. Stop saying dumb things. Truth is truth. Your truth is called an opinion. And opinions are like something that stinks. That is just opinions. And so if we take the way the world works, it's got to be able to apply to every person. It always works out the same way. Otherwise, it's not true. Come on, we trust the science, yeah? Science says do something 3 times in a row. If you get the same exact result, then it works. So if we took 3 people and they all did the same thing that this world, the way this world thinks, and they did it that way, it should work out the exact same way every time. But guess what? It doesn't. For every one person that it's ending up kind of well for, there's about 15 others that are pushed down. For me to get to the top, I got to push someone down. That is not God. And even the ones that look like they're winning, long term, they're down. Because they may look, I just had a conversation with one of my family members, one of my cousins. He's so focused because all of his brothers and sisters are getting these nice houses. He's like, man, I'm in a double wide. Got 3 kids, trying to figure this out. He says, but they always come to my house, and they got way nicer houses. Someone says, you want to know why? Because you're the only one serving God. So they may have it, but inside they're rotting. There's peace where you are. There's peace there. That's what how the world says build your life. It may not be a physical thing. It may not be money or cars or whatever. Don't worry, I ain't on like we should all just be in a commune and not work. Jesus says you don't work, you don't eat. Work. Laziness is not of God either. That's for all the Gen Zers. No. It's got to work everywhere. Because the house always wins. So if we can't apply it in all circumstances, it is not unchangeable, unmutable, it is untrue. We've got to come over here to something different. Yeah, there's a cost to it. I'm sorry if you've been told a bill of goods of a lie that is, hey, why don't you just come say a thing, click your heels 3 times, and go to heaven at the end. Just do whatever you want, be a good person. No. Jesus says there's a cost to this thing. He says, what's the cost? Everything. What do you get in return? Even more than everything. C.S. Lewis says it this way. He says, a guy who has God and everything is no different than a guy who has God and nothing, because God is everything. See, we say these things, but when we look at how we've built our life, let me ask you something. If life is just beating you down, you're tired, you're weary, struggling in depressions and anxieties and everything else that comes along with that, the house is winning. Don't try to fix up the house. Was that a place that they made it all look pretty? Literally, this was a few weeks ago. The roof was quite literally caving in. The walls were getting painted. And they just took a floor jack and just jacked it up like, we're good. Don't try to fix, the house is broken. And the house always wins. Change houses. Change houses, move. I mean, the old house got bed bugs in it. Ceiling's collapsing. Ceiling is collapsing. Move. Stop building your life on the things that keep shifting and changing, because the house always wins. You may have a moment of being up, but even in those moments of being up, most people are down. Craziest thing here in the United States, at least. We have reached a higher level of prosperity than has ever been recorded in human history, but yet people are more depressed, anxious. What does that tell you? The system is broken. And the church is supposed to be the one standing on the rock saying, there's a different way to do this whole life. Everything, there's a different way to do marriage. There's a different way to parent. There's a different way to do it. Move with us. But unfortunately, the church has decided to try to make a path and a walkway and straddle the two and say, I'm here sometimes, and then I'm over here most of the time. I just dance like this to keep your attention. The church has decided, no, like we can kind of do it the same way. No. We got to change houses because the house always wins. So if the house always wins and that's that house, there's another house. The one built on the rock that doesn't matter what comes, it stays strong. Notice, very carefully, it didn't say there are no storms. It didn't say nothing ever happens. You just, what do we say all the time? Oh, you weather them differently. Jesus never claimed there wouldn't be. Matter of fact, he says, in many places, he says, by the way, there will be persecutions, because people are going to think you're insane. They're going to tell you that living life this way doesn't work. It may cause rifts in families. It may do this. And God says, I don't want that. But it's got to be founded this way. Anything other is insanity. Because the house always wins. So then we have to ask ourselves, we're very familiar with this house on sand. Most of us, I would argue, probably live in it about 23 hours a day. But what about this other house? Most of us know nothing of God's house. Some of you are like, oh, the church building. No, this is just a physical structure that we meet in. How does God define his house? What does he say about it? What kind of house is it? Very simple. Isaiah 51, Jeremiah 7, and Jesus and Matthew and Luke. Who's ever heard of DJ Jesus? Table turner. Goes into the temple. And he gets enraged by what he sees. What does he see? He sees that house of sand being imported in to a dedicated holy place. He tears it up and he says, this house will be a house of, I gave you the answer. We put it all on the signs out there on your way in and everything. It says, this house will be a house of prayer. What does that mean? That's how we weather, as Christ followers, that's how we weather every storm, is in prayer. It's not, the stupidest thing. I'm sorry, y'all know. Yeah. Thank you, Daniel. You're keeping me in balance here because I'm. The craziest thing, I'll be a little nicer, is for someone who claims Christ to say, well, all there's left to do is pray. Why? Truly, in God's name, was that not the first thing we ran to? Why? Because we were over here and we were trying to figure it out. And they were like, I guess the house won. I guess we'll go to the other house. Then we pray. But because we don't know the house, we don't know where things are in the house. You ever been to someone's house? You don't know where it is? Like, where's the bathroom? You don't know the house. So then we go into it to pray, but we're not doing it the right way. Can you pray wrong? You can't pray the wrong way. You can. You can't necessarily, it's not like a subset of words. You can pray what you want instead of saying, God, what do you want? James says that. He says, you pray and you ask amiss. Why? You're not in the house. And what you're doing is you're living in this house saying, hey, God, would you come moving over here and fix this house? He says, no. You come move in with me. Make no mistake about it, this house of prayer is not this building. This building represents what a real house of prayer is. In Jeremiah 7, when he mentions this idea of the house of prayer, he's talking to the people of Israel. And what he says is, if you will turn from all of that stuff, I will make my dwelling place, what is a house? A dwelling place in you. Guys, he already did that. Through the person, the life, death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, he already made us his dwelling place. And he says, that you're gonna be my house. But we gotta get rid of that. Because the house always wins. And so if I'm in this house of prayer, and I learn this house, and I run to this thing first, now all of a sudden, the house always wins. Many of you, I know this by the unction of the Spirit, many of you don't believe me. I just simply submit to you then, you got a better idea. How's it work? I'll pull a Dr. Phil on you. How's it working out for you? Life's going pretty good. It doesn't have to be going pretty good. It can be going amazing. You can have the best marriage that you've ever experienced when you stop building it over here and you build it over there. You can become the dad or the mother that you really ever wanted to be, and God can do what? He can step into that past and make up the difference. But you got to move from this house, because this house always wins. Move to the other house that always wins. Then Scripture gives the promise that there will be a day that storm will come and overtake all of that. Then there will be one house left. Don't be homeless when that day comes. Don't be found homeless begging on the side of the street. We have that story with Noah and the ark. Y'all didn't know that? Noah's ark was a story of God's grace and mercy and people who found themselves homeless. The crazy thing is that day has come and it is now. You say, no, I'm looking around and there is it all. You just got to move out the house. A house is the dwelling place, is the place you run to initially, not after everything else. So I give you this as a challenge this week. Move out. No, I'm talking to the graduates. Get out the house. No, I'm just kidding. Couldn't help myself. It's too easy. Move out of the house that you've been building your life on. What does that look like, building your life on? It can be as the simple one that everybody's familiar with, is like, don't chase the stuff. It's not about the stuff. It's very true. No, I'm talking about move out of the way you think about things. When a situation comes up, which will probably be by the end of the day, whether it be an argument, whether it be a this, whether it be a that, or it's Monday morning and something's going, when that first initial thing comes and starts shaking that, move houses, run to prayer first. Some of you may be saying, well, what do I pray? Because I'm probably going to do like you said earlier. I'm just going to pray everything I want. Ask God to come bless my mess. We were given a template prayer. What is the template? Template is you fill in the blanks, but here's kind of the format of it. Jesus prays it in Matthew 6. He says, when you pray something like this. Father, you're holy. You're dedicated. You're the foundation. You're the house that always wins. Holy is your name. That's who you are. Dedicated, unwavering. Your kingdom. The idea of a kingdom is the way a house works. Right? You step into my house, step into my kingdom. And or Terrence. You step into my realm. I step into yours. I'm in yours. So your kingdom come, your will be done right now. In this moment of an argument with a spouse, in this disagreement between me and my child when I don't know how to connect with them, between me and a friend, between me and my boss in my workplace, between me and the car in front of me. Kingdom come in this moment, right now. I'm moving houses. I don't want to respond the same way. I don't want to think the same way. When that betrayal happens, I move houses. I don't deal in the unforgiveness. I don't deal in the shame. Kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven.